Welcome to regular council meeting, Tuesday, December 21st, 2021. Look for a roll call.
Councilmember Babcock. Councilmember Brookover.
Here.
Councilmember Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gregg.
Here.
Mayor Bacon.
Present. Item 1.2, approval of the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda with one amendment to the business agenda, adding a new section 5.2 entitled Discussion and Motion Regarding Review of Possible Use of ARPA monies for premium pay to the City of East Lansing employees.
I can second.
Proposed by Councilperson Brookover with an amendment, second by Councilperson Watson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. New item 5.2. I'll look for item 1.3, approval of both regular council meeting on December 7th and city council discussion only meeting on December 14th. I'll look for a motion.
I'll move approval. Second.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Gregg, second by Councilperson Watson. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? On to 2.1, all written communication received before 4 p.m. by council are posted to the online agenda packet. So you can look there for anything that you sent in. We'll move on to communication from the audience. Anyone in person who wants to communicate, please fill out one of the blue cards so we can keep track for the record, name, et cetera, on the blue cards. Anyone in the immediate audience wishing to address council? Once, twice. All right. Do we have anyone in the online queue?
We do not have anyone online.
Okay, that's a Christmas miracle. All right. All right, we'll do, first we'll start with communication from council members. Item 3.1, Councilperson Brookover.
Item 2.3, you mean? 2.3?
Oh, yeah, 2.3.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Nothing, thank you.
Councilperson Watson.
Nothing.
Mayor Pro Tem Gregg.
Hey, I wanted to just remind everybody that they've got a few more shopping days till Christmas, and we've got a bunch of great stores downtown that would love to sell you gifts for your loved ones, including gift cards if you can't think of anything else. So, as you're finishing up your shopping, just think of your home city and how we would love to spread your dollars around.
I guess I'm last. First, I want to kind of commemorate and acknowledge this is our last meeting with Miss Emily Gordon. Just been a wonderful, and I sent this to her personally, but I feel I need to acknowledge her in public, wonderful help to me through this entire process, being appointed to council, becoming mayor, and everything else along the way. Wonderful resource, wonderful person. I really appreciate you. Sad that you're leaving, happy for you progressing in your career and all those things. So I'm a big supporter. I'm selfishly very sad to see you go, but really happy for your future. And like I said, in correspondence, and I'll say it in public, I'll support you anywhere along the way and anything you ever need. I'll be here to support you. You really helped me transitioning into this role. So I thank you so much for that. I also want to acknowledge everyone have a happy Christmas and a safe Christmas. Clearly, this virus has been unrelenting, and it's really picked a really inconvenient time to spike again. During this holiday season, please do your best to keep friends and family members safe. And I heard one individual say, just kind of prepare as if you're preparing for the most vulnerable person in your family, and just act accordingly with that. And if there's a choice between a smaller gathering or a larger gathering, choose accordingly. And let's just try to get through this and perhaps find some end to this pandemic in one way or another. But just continue to be safe. Thank you to all city staff, City Manager Lahanas, and everyone for this year, because I don't think we'll see each other again after this. It's been despite all the obstacles, been a very productive year for the city. We've delivered at every turn. With all the challenges that were here, a lot of people could have folded. A lot of cities didn't do as well as East Lansing did through a pandemic, even to this step. So thank you guys all for all your hard work, and thanks for everything along the way. All right. Almost here. I'll need two motions here. I'm going to make two closed session motions. The first motion I'll be looking for will be move to closed session and a roll call vote here. Move to enter closed session to consult with the city attorney regarding trial or settlement strategies in connection with pending litigation with Heels versus East Lansing. So I'll look for, there's the first one. I'll look for motion to go into closed
I'll
session.
move approval.
Would you mind reading the entirety of the
Yeah.
motion as it's listed?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Case number 20-199-CZ, for the reason that an open meeting would be a detrimental financial effect on the litigation or stated position of the city. The closed session will take place at the conclusion of the meeting.
Thank you.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Gregg, second by Councilperson Brookover. Roll call.
Cock. Councilmember Brookover.
Yes.
Councilmember Watson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Gregg.
Yes.
Mayor Bacon.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. Item B, move to enter closed session to consult with city attorney regarding trial or statement strategy in connection with pending litigation, Nichols versus East Lansing, case number 21-155-CZ, for the reason that an open meeting would have a detrimental financial effect on the litigation or settlement position of the city. The closed session will take place at the conclusion of the meeting. I'll look for a motion on this item.
I move that we enter the closed session for the reasons stated in addition to settlement strategy.
Second.
So moved by Councilperson Brookover, second by Mayor Pro Tem Gregg. Roll call.
Councilmember Babcock. Councilmember Brookover.
Yes.
Councilmember Watson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Gregg.
Yes.
Mayor Bacon.
Yes. Motion carries for closed session at the end of the meeting. On to City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few brief items. First is to mention happy holidays and happy new year to all the residents of the city of East Lansing. I know it's been a difficult year, but we've gotten through it together, and hopefully looking forward to better times in the future. I know it looks a little bit grim right now, but I'm certain by summer we'll be feeling, or spring hopefully, we'll all be feeling a lot better about our outlook. I also want to thank all of our employees for their hard work and service over the prior year. We've done a lot of good things, and I appreciate all of their efforts during a pandemic. I also want to thank Emily Gordon. She started work with the city council and the clerk's office a little over 4 years ago. She's been with the city for about 4.5 years. She did a great job as a city council assistant, and she always jumps in for elections and helps run our elections as well. And she really is a great team player in that respect, helps out wherever is needed. When we went to the pandemic and had to go to remote meetings, she was one of the people who became sort of our Zoom experts and immediately slotted in to help us run all of our Zoom meetings across all these different commissions, help train people, and really, again, showing herself to be a great team player, willing to do what you need to do to make things work. So a big thank you to Emily Gordon for your service. Greatly appreciated, and you will be missed. Thank you. And now I've got to make the following statement regarding the intermittent closures, park closures for deer removal. By the authority granted pursuant to Section 28-3 of the Code of the City of East Lansing, I hereby establish the following different closing hours for city parks. Beginning January 3rd, 2022, and through March 31, 2022, all city parks shall be subject to closure when posted between the hours of 4 p.m. and 7 a.m. for the purpose of wildlife management. When closed during the above dates and hours, city park entrances, including parking lots and pedestrian paths, shall be posted and barricaded to notify the public of the closure. It shall be unlawful for any person except those persons authorized by the city manager for wildlife management to enter, cross through, or remain within any park during any such closure. I would also mention that this is the second year of our deer removal program, and that last year, the deer removed from the City of East Lansing's parks were processed, and the venison was donated to the Greater Lansing Food Bank, and that effort was actually supported through the generosity of the Michigan Sportsmen Against Hunger organization that helped pay for that processing. And of course, the Greater Lansing Food Bank was the beneficiary. This year, again, we will do the same thing with the support of the Michigan Sportsmen Against Hunger, and the Greater Lansing Food Bank will accept all of the venison donated from this process. Thank you.
Item 2.5, City Attorney Report.
Thank you. I don't have anything for the report tonight except to say happy holidays.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Mr. Lahannis, I was just wondering if you could give us updates on how things are going besides this announcement. And I know we talked about the postings, but if you could give us maybe updates just each month about how it's going or what changes are happening.
Yes, certainly.
With
You
the
mean
deer
in
code?
terms of the deer removal
Yes.
process?
Mhm.
Yes, we will keep council apprised, and we can also let the public know as we move along the process.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I think secondary to that, City Manager, just I think, as stated before, I think that process ended pretty quick last time, correct? Was that, we didn't use the entire time?
Yeah, I would not expect to use the entire time. This time, we don't know what they'll find in terms of going into the parks, but last time it was a very brief period and they were completed. So if that happens, we'll come back and remove this order and reopen the parks. I mean, there would be no more closures at that point, and we would notify the public as well.
All right, thank you. On to item 3.1. This item was moved. This will propose new date for this item with the chamber is January 11th, on the January 11th agenda at this point. We'll move on to consent agenda. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. We have the following items on the consent agenda for council's consideration. Item 4.1, approve the following appointments or reappointments to boards and commissions. A, Greg Ballein to the Downtown Management Board for a full term ending December 2025. It should be December 31st, 2025. B, Ken Campbell to the Downtown Management Board for a full term ending December 31st, 2025. C, Brielle Patel to the University Student Commission for a partial term ending September 30th, 2022. Caden Carter to the University Student Commission for a partial term ending September 30, 2022. E, Robin Border to the University Student Commission for a partial term ending September 30, 2022. F, Jessica Shaw to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a partial term ending December 31st, 2023. G, Larry Rosen to the Housing Commission for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. H, Irene Cahill to the Housing Commission for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. I, Joseph Sullivan to the Planning Commission for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. J, Cynthia Williams to the Planning Commission for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. K, Alan Drower to the Building Board of Appeals for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. I, Megan Doyle Busk to the Board of Review for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. M, Nancy Nelson Knupfer to the Board of Review for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. N, Syed Haidar to the Transportation Commission for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. O, Julie Rajewski to the Transportation Commission for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. P, Mitchell Moore to the Transportation Commission for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. Q, Nathan Werner to the Transportation Commission for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. R, Matthew Penniman to the Transportation Commission for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. And S, Miles Overall to the Transportation Commission for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. Item 4.2, approve a property claim settlement with Aaron Oxter in the amount of $3,000 and authorize the Finance Director to settle after obtaining a full release from the claimant before tendering funds. Item 4.3, introduce and set a public hearing for January 11th, 2022. city council meeting to consider a special use permit to establish a fraternity in 2 existing apartment buildings at 312 North Harrison Road and 710 Oak Street. Item 4.4, introduce and set for consideration on the January 11th, 2022 City Council Business Agenda, Ordinance 1511, an ordinance to set regulations regarding moped parking. Item 4.5, approve a lease agreement with Giorgio's Pizza. Item 4.6, approve a parking facility repairs engineering agreement with Fishbeck in the amount of $46,788, along with a 20% contingency, and authorize the city manager to sign. Item 4.7, introduce and refer to the Parks and Recreation Commission and Downtown Development Authority, Ordinance 1510, and Policy Resolution 2021-18, to establish new regulatory requirements and administrative procedures for operating mobile food vending units. Item 4.8, approve Policy Resolution 2021-19, a resolution to create a homeowner assistance program for basement backup protection. Item 4.9, approve and accept a property donation identified as the northern half of the vacated Granada Way right-of-way as a public park for the purpose of supporting the long-term maintenance of the pedestrian connection to the Northern Tier Trail from Riveria Drive, and authorize the city manager to sign the property transfer affidavit. Furthermore, move that the property be identified as Granada Park. 4.10, approve an additional allocation of $5,000 for lighting upgrades to the East Lansing Hannah Community Center Albert A. White Performing Arts Theater for additional work associated with the TLS Productions and Wireworks electrical services contract. Funds for this allocation are available from the Parks and Recreation portion of the income tax fund. Those are all the items on the consent agenda for council consideration.
I'll look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilperson Watson, second by Mayor Pro Tem Gregg. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. On to the business agenda, item 5.1, a discussion of city attorney interview questions.
I guess I'll kick it off since we're being quiet.
Kick it.
These seem to be, George, correct me if I'm wrong, but these seem to be the ones that we used last time.
Correct.
I thought the process went pretty well from my perspective last time, and I think that these questions got to most of my concerns. I think last time we had kind of an open-ended possibility at the end where council members could kind of follow up on something or ask something. It's nice to have that option, I guess. But otherwise, I think these are fine, unless there's something that anybody feels like they need to see in here.
I'd just like to maybe submit some additional ones after tonight that I've thought of that I don't really think we need to discuss. I mean, I'll send them around to people or whatever you guys decide you want to do, so.
We do have, I know that council had wanted to consider, or actually the mayor mentioned to me, considering a different date. And if we do end up with a June 13th date, I'm sorry, I keep saying June, January 13th date, June 13th is too far, too much delay, that we would be able to have an additional meeting before that. So if you wanted to have another opportunity to finalize questions, just presenting that for council, that there may be another opportunity to do this.
Yeah, I guess I buried the lead. Yeah, the proposed date is January 13th. It'd be 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And that was to allow, I hadn't considered allowing time to review and just creating a little buffer in there for that. So that's the new date as of right now, if there's no objections to that.
I'm sorry, missed what you
Yep,
said.
Thursday, January 13th, same time slot would be 5 p.m. I think we allotted 4 hours, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., correct?
Yeah, and you might have to go longer, but that's probably a good estimate. Hopefully it won't be longer. That's a long time.
It's a Thursday.
Are we still thinking we're going to make our choice then that day? we don't know.
Right. Where do we leave that? I presumed we'd have time to deliberate and, or do we come out of that session with a decision?
So any deliberation gets a little dicey with open meetings because we can't really deliberate outside of a meeting. We do have a discussion meeting scheduled for Tuesday, the 18th. So I think that would give us kind of the weekend to mull things over and kind of think about things, and then we could come back with a decision on that discussion meeting. I think that.
Yeah, council maybe one way, and I'm not sure we can come to a decision on the discussion meeting, but we can maybe have discussion that leads us to a decision at a subsequent meeting.
Sure.
Council, what do you?
We do occasionally sneak business items onto discussion agendas when we need to. Sometimes if we don't have a third meeting in that month, we sneak some business items through, so it's not unheard of.
Okay.
I'd prefer to get it on the 18th meeting if we could put one business item on there versus, because did we do a special meeting last time to settle this?
I think we did it night of. It was grueling. That's all I remember.
It was grueling, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's look more for a business item on the,
I'm sorry, I might have missed the question. I'm having a little bit of a hard time hearing. Was the question, can you make the decision at the discussion-only meeting?
I think we are where we can. I think we were looking more to add, can we have a business item at the end of the discussion-only meeting to make our decision?
I mean, it's a properly noticed public meeting, so you can make a decision if you decide to do that. And then, I think if I recall correctly, then when you did it last time, you made the decision that night, but then, of course, there was the preparation of the engagement agreement, which was reviewed by your labor council. So the final, vote to really approve that was still at a subsequent business meeting.
A mostly discussion meeting.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So just for clarification, the new date for interviews, January 13th, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then a business agenda item at the January 18th discussion-only meeting would be the decision deliberation of the attorneys. Is that the best way to put it? Okay.
So I think I'm going to follow what Councilmember Brookover said about submitting some questions, because I do not see the question that was asked before about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's really important that we get a gauge from our next attorneys as well about where they stand on that, and also if we're splitting up the prosecutor piece and trying to continue to move forward in different directions. So I'm not sure where that question went, but I know that that question was on our list the last time. So I'm gonna find it and submit some more. And I'm kind of confused about the separation of the prosecutor piece, and so I'm wondering, would these questions be relevant to someone that's solely submitted for the prosecutor piece?
I think a lot of them would not be, Councilmember Watson, so I think splitting off ones that are, I'm not sure that all of our applicants have submitted dual, anyway, we'll have to target that to people that did only apply for the prosecution, and then we'll have to split off prosecution questions, and we might want to come up with a couple, because we had a pretty beefy discussion about a month ago in terms of what we would like to start to track in terms of our prosecution, and I think that's actually pretty relevant, and we probably want to put that on the table.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think particularly around the questions around data collection and some of the other things that have been asked in recent councils would be the big questions. Yeah, most of these don't apply to that role individually, and I think even in the last deliberation, the prosecutorial piece was really secondary to the city attorney piece last time, and that's going to be a little bit different this time. So we probably need an entirely different set of questions for just that piece alone.
What would be the smoothest process for us to submit additional questions without without risking the group text problem?
Yeah, so just submitting them one direction to me, and then I would compile them and put them forward. As long as you're not sharing them out with each other and discussing it, just send them to me, and I'll compile them and put them on a list. And then you can go through that final Tuesday and strike ones that you don't want and select ones you do want.
Okay.
And we can also perhaps start, if you want, and come up with a list for the prosecutor as well, because you're right that that wasn't a consideration last time. It was all in one, and then have a separate list for that as well.
Sounds like a plan.
Do we need a motion here to move through this?
I think we already moved to close. I don't think we need to vote on this.
Is there any need for a motion here to move forward?
Should we have a motion to set the date?
Well, you said the previous day during your discussion only meeting without a motion, so I'm not sure that you need a motion now to change it.
Because I can always.
It's kind of administrative in terms of setting a
Okay.
meeting date.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the business agenda, but it's a discussion item.
Yeah.
I think, do we need to vote to adjourn to closed session?
We have 5.2 next.
Oh, 5.2. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, that's right, I forgot. We had a motion.
So now we'll move on to new item 5.2, motion to approve agenda to amend. So the motion is regarding review of possible ARPA monies, premium pay for City of East Lansing employees.
So with regard to this agenda item, I move, just for the purpose of discussion, I move we authorize the city manager and/or treasurer to undertake a review of the American Rescue Plan Act in order to advise the council no later than January 18th, 2021, as to the possible use of such funds for premium pay for all unelected part-time and full-time city employees, independent of but consistent with any existing employee collective bargaining agreements and/or ongoing collective bargaining process. I'm going to hand down the motion so everybody's got it. And then if I can get a second on the motion, then I'll sort of explain where I'm headed on this.
I can second right now.
Thank you. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm fully aware of the fact that I asked fairly pointed questions of staff and council. It occurs to me that we probably don't consider our appreciation to our city employees very well. And as Mr. Lahanas has educated us about the provisions or possible provisions of the American Rescue Plan Act, it occurred to me that we really ought to look at that. And I know you all are aware that there are other municipalities and governmental entities that are giving, I'm going to inartfully use the word bonuses. That's not the right word under the Act, but bonuses to employees for various things. And so, as in all things, when the government says, we're here to help you, it turns out that this is a lot more complicated than one would think in terms of the statute. And fortunately, our good attorneys at Foster Swift, I think, have done some work on this. So I think if this is not to say we're going to do such a thing, and I want to make it perfectly clear, this is not something that is meant to interfere with in any way, manner, shape, or form with a collective bargaining process or the existing collective bargaining agreements. In my way of thinking, if something like this would come to fruition, it would be totally apart and independent from the collective bargaining situation. And so I just think we probably need some advice from the city attorney and treasurer, like they have already given us in terms of other things we can do with the ARP money, to see what, if anything, we can do for our employees using this money. So that's the purpose of the motion. Excuse me.
Comment?
My one comment is just, when we received our COVID dollars at the county, I was disappointed that employees who had left prior to the decision and the handout weren't included in that process. And so I'm just asking, I would like to get information on employees that have left, and it doesn't have to always be someone that was maybe with us for 6 months, but folks that were with us for 3 years or, more than that, and then left during the time that they might have gotten these COVID dollars, but it's taken us a while to kind of hand it out. I'd like information on that to just understand, if they could be included or not included.
Mayor Pro Tem Gregg?
I'm good.
I'm good as well. I like it, frankly. No way around it. All right, I'll look for, need a motion here to approve the review by, oh, motion's pending, okay. Let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Now we proceed to closed section, correct? Okay. Motion's already. All right. We'll move into closed session. We'll only be returning back to the main chamber here to adjourn the meeting once we're done with closed session. So you're welcome to remain in the chamber if you see fit. Otherwise, that will be our last act, is adjournment back in the chamber after the closed session. Thank you, guys. All right. I will be looking for a motion to come back into open session.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved by Councilperson Brookover, second by Mayor Pro Tem Gregg. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Or should that be roll call?
Do we do a roll call, though, I would say, who's going to challenge you for not coming back into open session to adjourn, but you can do it on a roll call.
All right, just to be official.
Yeah.
Councilmember Babcock, Councilmember Brookover,
Yes.
Councilmember Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Gregg,
Yes.
Mayor Bacon.
Yes. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.